A few weeks ago, I received a request from one of our loyal viewers in Canada. Brenda asked if we would do an episode on adrenals. I am happy to oblige, and today's show is on adrenals. Now, the adrenal glands play a major role in our overall health, but they have a unique relationship with progesterone. When the adrenal glands are overstressed, it can dramatically affect the level of progesterone in our body, causing or possibly creating estrogen dominance. So, what are the roles of the adrenal glands in the body? What causes them to get overstressed or exhausted? What does a progesterone steal? And most importantly, is there anything that we can do naturally to support our adrenals? Well, we will answer all of these questions and more on today's show. Today we're talking with women's health advocate and natural hormone guru, Jackie Harvey. Now, Jackie Harvey is the publisher of naturalhormoneguru.com, which is a culmination of her vision and dream to see women everywhere experience overall natural health. She's been a tireless advocate for women's health and natural solutions for over 30 years. Jackie, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, I enjoy being here. Thank you very much.
So Jackie, I hear a lot of chatter out there about adrenal fatigue, and I've even heard you talk about stressed out adrenals and overstressed adrenals. But honestly, I really don't even know what my adrenals do, except help when I'm startled. Could you talk about what adrenals are and the role in our body?
Well, they do produce adrenaline, but they also produce cortisol. Cortisol is our fight or flight, and adrenaline is our fight or flight hormone. And so they help us control our outside circumstances that are causing us problems. And so adrenals are very important. We need adrenals to calm the storm for us. And the more stress we're under, the more our adrenals are kicked into action. We find that many people today have low adrenal reserves, that it results in low cortisol. And that's the main hormone that's produced by that adrenal gland. And if it's low, we're going to see problems.
Well, what are the main things? Now, you mentioned stress, but what are some of the other things that cause adrenal fatigue?
All things are going to be connected to stress of one sort or another. So a woman who can't sleep at night, that's going to tax her adrenals. A woman who has to get up and out of her house on a regular basis and really would prefer to stay home. If somebody's sick, that's going to cause the adrenals, to suffer. We can tell that adrenal function is diminishing. There's a few things that we look at when we see that. Women that are tired but wired after 6 o'clock, we can tell that their adrenals are under attack there. Certainly if they're having trouble sleeping, or even more so having trouble getting up in the morning, we can tell that their adrenal reserves are affected there. If they always get sick, the immune system goes down before the adrenal glands go down. And so the immune system is going to be a really good monitor of whether the adrenals are going to ultimately be affected or not. If women are moody or they suffer from foggy thinking, those are good signs that her adrenals are now affected. Craving salty snacks, because adrenal reserves rely on some sodium being in place. And certainly gaining weight around the middle. We call that fat deposition by cortisol when we gain weight around the middle. Not a fun thing to happen, but that usually happens as a response to something that's going on with our adrenal glands. The adrenals do another thing hormonally. They reach up and grab progesterone to convert it to cortisol. If the adrenals need more cortisol to be produced, they use progesterone to do that. And so grabbing a cup of coffee isn't going to resolve that. But certainly testing to see if progesterone levels are low would be advisable, and to rectify that by doing some progesterone supplementation would help the adrenal glands tremendously. from my perspective, the adrenals need support. And there's no other way to say it. They just support the adrenals, so allow them the freedom to do what they need to do, whether they reach up and grab progesterone, whether they produce adrenaline, or whether they're overproducing cortisol in response to our lifestyle. They still need support, and progesterone will be one of the main supports for the adrenal glands.
By the way, Jackie did a great video on stress. There will be a link to it after this video. So how do overworked, overstressed, fatigued adrenals affect the other hormones in the body, especially progesterone?
Well, it depletes progesterone for sure. And depleting progesterone stores is going to have a lot of problem issues as it relates to balancing with estrogen. So just being under stress could cause estrogen dominance. For sure. And, estrogen dominance always means a deficiency of progesterone. We know that stress also causes women to eat erratically and maybe inappropriately. But if they're reaching for starchy foods, they could be reaching for that bag of potato chips or, some other salty food, or they're going to reach for sugary foods. And in both cases, they could be stimulating their insulin production and causing an elevation in testosterone as well. So it actually can multiply into more than one hormone challenge, to say the least.
So I guess that speaks to the importance of cortisol in our system, that the body is willing to steal progesterone to make cortisol. And I've heard you call that a progesterone steal, that the body will take the progesterone, make more cortisol through the adrenal glands. Is that a fair way of saying that?
Absolutely. And we can't do without cortisol because, again, if cortisol is low in the morning, it means that we don't even feel like we want to get up in the morning. So cortisol is so important. It's our get up and go hormone. It wakes us up in the morning and we have get up and go. Now, it will subside through the day, so it doesn't stay high all day as other adrenal hormones do, but it's very important to get us up and get us rocking. So yes, progesterone plays a great role in helping us maintain optimal cortisol levels for morning wake up.
So if we find ourselves in this situation that our adrenals are fatigued and overstressed, what can we do to fix that situation? How do we support our adrenals?
Well, first of all, of course, it's going to be making sure that you have ample progesterone. So I would encourage all women who are stressed to the max and think that they're burning out their adrenals, do a saliva test. Figure it out and do the test that includes the DHEA and the cortisol test. Those are both adrenal hormones, and if they show that those hormones are either way high sky, which I usually don't see, or in the basement, which is what we usually do see, then resolve that. Number one would be to make sure that your body's getting lots of vitamin D. Plenty of vitamin D from the sun as well as from supplementation. And we usually suggest a minimum of 5,000 IUs a day of vitamin D. That would be very, very important. Now, vitamin D does lots of other things in the system, but it's very important as an adrenal support. Secondly, would be to make sure you get an adequate amount of vitamin C. We've talked about vitamin C for years, but people tend to, relegate it to be not important, but it is the main nutrient that the adrenal glands are looking for. And so using a buffered form of vitamin C and using a lot, maybe 3,000 milligrams to start, aiming towards 6, 7, or 8,000 milligrams would be very appropriate. A buffered form is important at that juncture because you're taking lots. And it's important to take it so that it's not going to cause a problem of stress to the body. Because, an inappropriate form of vitamin C can cause canker sores. That is the bottom line, and cause the body to be uncomfortable. When people are under stress or they're experiencing adrenal fatigue, the body's need for vitamin C dramatically increases. And so, having a buffered form of vitamin C is the easiest form for the body to assimilate and use, and it helps support those adrenal glands for what they're looking for.
Now, I've heard you talk in some of your other videos about the form of vitamin C called sodium ascorbate. Tell us why that is a better form of vitamin C versus, say, an ascorbic acid, and why it is better for our system.
Well, again, when a woman or a man is suffering from adrenal fatigue, they're going to be craving salt. And so the snacks that they would reach for would be salty snacks. And the reason for that is because the body needs sodium along with the vitamin C. So bonding the vitamin C to a sodium bond as an ascorbate is always going to be preferential for using that vitamin C for adrenal support. Because our body is exposed to stress on an ongoing basis, we'd have to, deal with the stresses, get enough sleep, get on a good nutrition program, as well as support the adrenals supplementally. It can take years for some to respond and resolve it. I personally, because of my lifestyle, I stay on an adrenal support program on an ongoing basis. And, when I go on holidays, I know my adrenals are getting a rest. And so I know that my supplement program is sort of picking up the slack on my vacation to what it's going to be when I get home and into the rat race again. But we can see noticeable difference within a month of using this 9-essential program for adrenal support. We can see a change within a month. And I've had women tell me that just taking the vitamin C in a buffered form, even though they had taken other vitamin Cs before, made such a difference that it was noticeable that their body calmed down. Their adrenals were calming down. So, everybody's going to be different. It's going to take longer for those who are under more stress, and less time for those of us that handle stress a little bit better. But keeping on an ongoing adrenal support program, I think, is very wise for this day and age. So it's something I'm not considering ever going off of. If you suspect that your adrenals are being compromised, do a saliva test that includes DHEA and morning cortisol. It will be a revolution and a revelation to you, to say the least, because we as women think that we're just doing fine. We're trucking along and we're acing it, but a saliva test will reveal how bad the adrenals need support. And I think that that's very important. And as I said, an ongoing adrenal support program is imperative. I don't think that women out there who are stressed should not be on an adrenal support program on an ongoing basis. Now, that's not taking adrenal hormones, supplementing with actual adrenal hormones. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about supporting the adrenals with the nutrients that they require. And that's something that I'll do forever because I live a fairly active lifestyle. Helping hormonally challenged women and men is challenging, so I'm under stress.
Well, thank you, Jackie. Listen, adrenal fatigue is no joke. It can have a serious impact on your hormones and your overall health. Let's not kid ourselves into thinking that we can radically reduce the amount of stress in our lives. We need to face the fact that stress is here and it's impacting us negatively. This is not the time to bury your head in the sand and pretend that it's not there and hope that it goes away. Listen, once your hormones get out of balance, they never correct on their own. So let's do something about it. We make supporting adrenals and balancing your hormones naturally ridiculously simple. Visit us at MaxxAlive.com and subscribe to our all-natural hormone balancing program. It has everything you need to support your adrenals naturally, balance your hormones naturally, and the saliva test to prove it. And I make this no-risk promise to you. If for any reason you don't absolutely love the way that you feel, we'll refund your money, no questions asked. So if you're ready to experience amazing health through natural hormone balance, go to MaxxAlive.com and subscribe to our all-natural hormone balance program. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching this MaxxAlive video. Be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and when you do, hit the bell to be notified every time a hot new video is dropped. Also, log on to MaxxAlive.com to get more information about our natural, proven, and guaranteed program.